Shit, dude. So I wanted to like just link it back to like a question, man. So because like you always like talk back to music. Would you say like that's the main way that you kind of like express like passion or like your creativity? Like that's your like the way.
Yeah. I mean, like, music affects every cell of my body, like, really strong.
Mm.
And I'm, like, super aware of it.
Mm.
And there's, like, a deep connection with me and music.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. Cause like for me, it kind of like it varies a lot, you know. It kind of varies on the like the feeling, like the mode, the self expression, like the medium of expression will kind of vary depending on the feeling.
I mean, I do have more than music, you know. I like visual arts, I like photography. Once in a millionth, I draw stuff, like paint or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like music is my thing. Yeah.
I get you, man. Like for like most ideas, like the way that I kind of like my brain just generally works is I naturally like view things as like scenes from movies type shit, man. Like that's how I like normally things. But like there's some kind of like sometimes, you know, when you're just kind of like lying when you're trying to sleep at night and like just you can't because your mind just keeps like replaying into something. And you need to like get it out, man. And then sometimes I just like start drawing and like that it just kind of comes into like a picture in itself.
Yeah.
And that's like it's cool. It's interesting to see, man. You know how like different emotions can be expressed through different mediums.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, like at the end, it's just communication. To me, music. That's the thing. Like to me, music is music is. I can see it in. Okay, so if I compare music to languages, like to me, it's the same. Or drawing or any art. It's a way to communicate. At the end, if you think about it in a mathematical way, a logistic way, it's the same fucking thing. It's a combination of different sounds or gestures or signs, colors, whatever, and they mean something.
Yep.
It's a lot more complex than words on its own, you know? But it's the same. But then also, to me, everything is art. Like, everything.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I like treating life like that.
Yeah.
And it makes me very appreciative of it. You can kill it. It makes me really appreciative of it. Because I look at even the littlest things. And to me, it's fucking art. I like, I don't know, man. Everything. Emotions, relationships, love is art.
For sure, man. Yeah.
Struggle is art.
I think so too, man. I agree.
Maybe maybe that could be also called like God, maybe even, you know? Everything, like a sunset, a sunrise, the rain, the clouds, the color of the sky because of the reflection of the sun. The fact that the sun is like so fucking massive that we don't even understand. And just because of a layer of air, we're not dying, roasted. You know, like.
I mean, that's all like whole like big picture stuff, man. Yeah, trying to discuss about how like it's just how like all these things, seemingly random things, don't seem so random when you put them all together like that. Like, what do you mean?
I mean, like, I just think that life in general, like everything around us and farther than around us, it's just fucking amazing because like. Everything is like completely unique.
Yeah, I think so.
Like there's no two of ever in life. Nothing happens twice the same way, ever.
Right. Yeah.
Like the clouds, dude. There's no two same clouds ever.
Right. Like fingerprints.
Fingerprints,
for
bro.
Example, yeah. Yeah, just like like personalities. Man.
Even if I repeat a word many times, if you analyze a sound wave, it's not the same. You know. Even if I try to say it as same as possible, it's not. You know.
Shit. Actually, wait. But you mentioned something interesting though, like the idea of like perspective. because it really does, like, it affects a lot. Like, it affects our life completely, you know? How much do you think it reflects in terms of, like, fate? You know, like, because like, the way I look at it is, like, a lot, like, let's say, like, a lot of pessimistic people who are just like, you know, as soon as something bad happens, like, of course this is gonna happen to me, you know?
Right.
And then similarly, like, an optimistic person, when a good thing happens, is like, oh yeah, it naturally is, like, oh look, it happens.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Well, to me,
Because it kind of relates to manifestation, you know?
To me,
Like,
in the
the
sense
idea
of
of
fate, I think like each one of us is as unique as we are. We each have a certain combination of abilities that make us good at certain things. And I think that as humans, our purpose or duty is to use that for like best benefit for yourself and the ones around you. And like, I think if you do that, you're like fulfilling your destiny, your fate, your purpose, and it'll make you happy.
Okay, wait, you kind of lost me, bro. So
that's how I see, like, because like you were asking about perspective and fate, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, more like I was asking about perspective in relation to manifestation, actually.
Manifestation. Well, because that's the thing, because like that's how. Okay, let me explain it. For example, with myself. When I was little, my family discovered that I was like good at music and very social. When I was little, I was mostly hanging out with my grandparents and with their friends, and I would go to dinners and I would go to things. And instead of wanting to get off of the table to go play with the other kids, I wanted to sit down on the table and listen to what they were talking about and maybe even conversate with them and ask questions. I was super curious. I loved learning since little. So like they saw those two things. So like why not start teaching him music right away? So they did that. And then as I got older, like I really started developing like communication skills because of classes I took and everything, and therapy too, you know. Okay. In my family, we had communication issues, so like we all learned how to communicate. Okay. Yeah. And especially emotions and stuff like that. And like I see that I have various set of skills.
Yeah. I have a very particular set of skills.
See, like he's aware, you know? He knows what I'm talking about. And he uses his particular set of skill for good, dude. Yeah. Saving an innocent person.
For sure.
Mainly his daughter.
Yeah, his daughter. Yeah.
But anyways, like I feel like having those two very developed skills, I have a lot of power. You know, I'm good at communicating, and I'm good at music, and music is one of the global languages. You know, and it usually unites people and everything. Yeah. And like, I think, like I have a purpose of like, just kind of like, my duty is to give that to myself and the community and my surroundings, my loved ones, my friends, you know, my neighbors. Okay. And if I can grow as a musician and become famous and like be able to spread a message through the world, you know, and be able to help more people with more money, more fundings, you know, and everything. Like, I think that's what I've felt for years that's what I want to do.
Okay, I see.
And in many ways, and I've already have all those ideas, you know, like, and in that sense, like, I think that's kind of like, if I follow that with my heart, you know, and you're a good person, you know, and like you do and you stick to it and you're persistent to yourself and you're honest with yourself the entire time about everything. Super important. at least to yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Good things will come to you out of an outcome, because like it's the fucking balance.
I see what you're saying.
Life just balances out.
Mm-hmm.
And even though sometimes I feel even that like, fuck, life is unfair, life is hard, because we all feel like that sometimes, you know, and like, it's like, why does this happen to me and shit?
Yeah.
And like, when I feel like that, like, it's intense, but like, then I realize that, like, I don't know, then good stuff happens, and I'm like, you know what, like, I gotta stop tripping when bad things are happening. You know, because life is fucking crazy amazing, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's nuts and it's completely unpredictable. So, like, I gotta chill the fuck out. I don't know shit about the future.
Hell yeah.
You know?
For sure, man.
Like, the amount of times I've been like, what? You know, in good and bad ways in my life. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what's going on? You know? What's going on?
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand, dude. Like, I personally do subscribe to the idea of like there being like a bigger force with like an individual plan for everybody, you know, and like with that kind of, I don't know, that kind of perspective kind of allows me to kind of be grateful for like both the good days and the bad days, you know, because it's a whole thing about like be grateful for the bad days because you know a good day is coming, and be grateful for a good day because you overcame a bad day.
When you're
you know?
struggling, it's time to sit down and be like, okay, this is time to learn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do I have to learn? You know, what's the lesson right now? And you gotta just go through it. How did I get in this position? You know, why am I going through this? Am I supposed to? Can I change it? Can I fix it? Do I have to just go through it? Whatever it is, you know?
Yeah,
and
right.
How and whatever. And like, I think, obviously it's not as easier said than done.
yeah, obviously.
But like, if you have, like, I don't know, like if you live alone like us, because like at the end, like, I mean, like, we live with people, but we're completely independent, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of times I'm sitting in my room alone, you know? And I take those times to sometimes just reflect, you know?
Yeah.
But like, I think, like, we're not supposed to know our destiny or fate.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think, and this is kind of what I do because it's always worked for me in my life, kind of. But like, I follow my heart, dude, and my gut.
Yeah.
My gut and my instinct, dude. I really do. It's never failed me, and the older I get, the more attached I get to it, and the easier it is for me to just flow with my heart.
Yeah.
But always, like, it filters through my brain. But not in the sense to decide whether I do it or not. It's more in the sense of like, okay, let's do this the most logical way. You know?
Right.
Rational way, you know?
Right. Yeah, you kind of use your brain to like rationalize the decisions, right?
But I do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, like,
I get it.
It's never failed me. And I think like by doing that, in some way, I'm guiding myself towards my fate.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so, yeah, dude. Like that's genuinely I believe. Like I don't think you can go wrong if you're like honestly like genuinely like following your heart and what feels like right to you, like at whatever point in time, you know, because like even like whether you succeed or you don't in that, I do feel like you're ultimately working towards that ultimate plan that's somebody has for you, you know.
Yeah.
And it'll come, but like it's